Hi, I'm Bob. Welcome back to the solutions to the exercises for Chapter 11, Monopoly and Monopsony of the textbook Microeconomics, Theory and Applications with Calculus, the 5th edition by Professor Jeffrey Perloff. We reach Part 5, Government's Actions that Reduce Market Power. Here's exercise 5.1. It's about how the price ceiling affects the monopoly's optimal decisions. The monopoly sells water bottles in the airport. The government set a price cap at street prices plus 10%. Use a figure to show how the regulated price differs from the unregulated price. The figure shows the monopoly optimum choices without and with price regulation. Without the price ceiling, the monopoly's output, QM, is determined by the intersection between the marginal cost and the marginal revenue curves. The monopoly optimum is EM, where the monopoly price is PM. With the price cap, the demand curve the monopoly faces has a kink at the regulated price. The corresponding marginal revenue curve has a jump. The marginal cost curve crosses the regulated marginal revenue curve at QR. The new price is PR, and the new optimum is ER. The monopoly sells more water bottles at a lower price than without the regulation. The consumer surplus and the social welfare increase. The producer surplus drops. Because before the regulation, the monopoly could have produced at that level, but chose not to. Let's solve exercise 5.2. Describe the effects on output and welfare if the government regulates a monopoly so that it may not charge a price above P, which lies between the unregulated monopoly price and the optimally regulated price, determined by the intersection of the firm's marginal cost and the market demand curve. The optimally regulated outcome is EC, the same as in a competitive market, where welfare is maximized. The optimally regulated price is PC, and the output is QC. The unregulated monopoly optimum is EM, where the output is determined by the intersection of the marginal cost and marginal revenue curves. The unregulated monopoly price is PM, which can be found using the inverse demand curve. If the government sets a price ceiling between the unregulated monopoly price and the optimally regulated price, it creates a kink in the regulated demand curve the monopoly faces. The corresponding regulated marginal revenue curve has a jump. The marginal cost curve crosses the regulated marginal revenue curve at quantity QR. We have the following relationship. QC is greater than QR, which is greater than QM. PC is lower than PR, which is lower than PM. The welfare is maximized in the optimally regulated case in which there's no deadweight loss. The unregulated monopoly case has the smallest welfare. Let's do exercise 5.3. In the application, the Botox patent monopoly. What would happen to the price and quantity if the government has set a price ceiling of $200 per vial of Botox? What welfare effects would such a price ceiling have? As the graph shows, the regulated demand curve has a kink at the regulated price of $200. The regulated monopoly optimum is ER. The monopoly sells 1.53 million vials of Botox per year. It can be found using the inverse demand curve. Compared to the unregulated monopoly case, the price ceiling increases welfare by $146.7 million. The regulated deadweight loss is the smaller triangle, which is about $40.86 million. Let's find answers to exercise 5.4. A monopoly drug company produces a life-saving medicine at a constant cost of $10 per dose. The demand for this medicine is perfectly inelastic at prices less than or equal to $100. 100 patients need to take this drug daily. At a higher price, consumers buy nothing. So the monopoly optimal price and quantity and the consumer and producer surplus in the graph. Now, the government imposes a price ceiling of $30. So how the outcome, consumer surplus and producer surplus change? What is the deadweight loss, if any, from this price control? The monopoly will charge $100. The monopoly optimum is EM. The producer surplus is $9,000, the sum of areas A and B. The consumer surplus is 0. The welfare is the sum of producer surplus and consumer surplus, $9,000. There is no deadweight loss. If the price ceiling of $30 is imposed, the monopoly has to charge $30. The regulated monopoly optimum is ER. Part of the producer surplus will become the consumer surplus. The consumer surplus is the area A, $7,000. The producer surplus is area B, $2,000. The welfare is still $9,000. There's no deadweight loss. Let's solve exercise 5.5. Breyer Industries Incorporated, the only U.S. manufacturer of plastic Easter eggs, manufactured 250 million eggs each year. However, imports from China cut into its business. In 2005, Breyer filed for bankruptcy because the Chinese firms could produce the eggs at much lower costs. Using graphs to show how a competitive import industry could drive a monopoly out of business. As the graph shows, the monopoly optimum is EM, where the monopoly price is PM. PM is greater than the firm's long-run average cost at that monopoly output, so the firm makes a positive profit. If the price of the imports is PC, which is lower than PM, The residual demand curve the monopoly faces has a kink at the price PC. The corresponding marginal revenue curve, MRR, has a jump. The marginal cost curve crosses the marginal revenue curve at quantity QC. The new monopoly optimum is E2, where the monopoly sells the Easter eggs at the price of PC. If the monopoly's long-run average cost at this output is higher than the price of PC, the monopoly will shut down. Let's go to exercise 5.6. We will compare the prices, outputs, consumer surplus and producer surplus before and after removing the tariff. Before removing the tariff, the monopoly optimum is E star. It sells a quantity of Q star at the price of P star. The consumer surplus is the area A. The producer surplus is the area B plus D. The deadweight loss is C plus E plus F. After removing the tariff, the monopoly faces a residual demand curve with a kink at the price of PW. The corresponding marginal revenue curve, MRW, has a jump. The firm's marginal cost curve crosses the marginal revenue curve at quantity QW. The new monopoly optimum is EW. The firm produces QW and charges a price of PW. Consumer surplus increases to A plus B plus C. Producer surplus is D plus E. It must decrease because it could have chosen this level before but did not. The deadweight loss reduces to F. After removing the tariff, consumer surplus and social welfare increase, but producer surplus drops. Consumers gain and producers lose. Thank you so much for watching this video and trying all the exercises with me today. See you tomorrow. Take care. Thank you for watching this video and subscribing to my YouTube channel. See you next time.